Hello all, welcome back to Sri Sai Tech Edu YouTube channel, Read Lead Success. I am dealing with the subject Research and Publication Ethics. Already in module 1, some of the concepts I have discussed and uploaded. In this video, we will study a new concept. Characteristics of philosophy. What are the characteristics of the philosophy? There are some few characteristics we'll discuss one by one. First one is systematic. Systematicity means that the philosophical method is highly systematic. That is, it is ordered according to a series of parameters. Philosophy seeks to order everything that relates to the experience of human life in the most logical way possible. That is, it uses structures and processes that allow it to explain and analyze different problems orderly. Systematic. What comes to our mind when it is told systematic? Philosophy is also a systematic way to find some solution or to learn about the human life in a most logical way possible and relating the experiences and in an ordered way in a series of parameters. Okay, and explaining the structures and processes and analyze different problems orderly. This is nothing but how systematically philosophy is done. Then, analytical. The philosopher aims to analyze and understand reality, one's own knowledge in an analytic and detailed way. Philosophical thought focuses on particular categories, concepts, themes, and theories. Its objective is to analyze a specific topic, concept, or category in detail. Analytical means what? Analyzing something. If you consider have some aim or to analyze something about category, some concept or a topic, we go deep into it and analyze it, understand its reality and in a detailed way, right? Philosophical thoughts focus on what? Particularly categories, concepts, themes and theories. Objective is to analyze some topic or a category in very detail. Rational. It is a rational knowledge to which thinkers arrive through logic and reason. This means that it is free from emotion. Reason is the basic tool of philosophers and thinkers, which allows access to knowledge. All definitions of philosophy are based on rationality. As we explained earlier, this implies that philosophical thinking does not permit any mythological or supernatural explanations. Rational knowledge is also more valuable and reliable than that generated by authority. While philosophy is not an empirical discipline at all times, rationality is the basis of philosophical argument. Philosophy is nothing but it is a rational knowledge to which thinkers arrive through some logic and reason. So there will be no mythological or supernatural explanations to it. Okay, reason is the basic tool where philosophers and thinkers allows access to knowledge, reasoning something, questioning something. Okay, so in this way, rational is one of the characteristics of philosophy. Next, non-absolute. Knowledge is relevant to a specific historical context. That is, it is relevant to a specific period. The historical context includes certain events and their social and political conditions. It is not considered timeless knowledge. This characteristic is related to systematicity. Since philosophy is based on criticism and systematic evaluation of ideas, it can be absolute. The ultimate goal of philosophy is to get as close as possible to truth of all things. In this sense, Each philosophical argument is only a step towards the greater goal. Philosophy is based on argumentation. This implies that fundamental part of it is closely related to deliberation and debate. Since the rules for conversation and feedback are well defined, there is also openness to change. See, knowledge is what is relevant to what is a specific historical context. Nothing but it is relevant to a specific period. It is not considered timeless knowledge and it can be absolute or it cannot be absolute. See, this characteristic is related to systematicity. Since philosophy is based on what? Criticism and systematic evaluation of ideas, cannot be absolute. We can't say it is absolute. It is non-absolute. Why? Because it is a systematic evaluation of ideas and criticism. So we can't absolutely tell this is the final one or something like that. Okay, it is nothing but possible to the truth of all things. We are almost trying to be close to the truth of all things. Okay, in this way, non-absolute is one of the characteristics. Then, global. On the other hand, philosophical thought can be encompass any possible reality. That is, different sciences, fields of study and disciplines. This type of thought can be applied in its entirety, although sometimes it only focuses on certain concepts. See, philosophy is a global one where it can be any field like sciences, fields of study and disciplines that encompass and possibly reality. It should be reality. In global, it can be any field of study. Okay. Then also sometimes it only focuses on what? Certain concepts. Radical. This characteristic has to do with sensitive subject matters that philosophy deals with. This discipline concentrates its greatest efforts in areas that are crucial for human beings, such as meaning of life. See, this characteristic deals with what? Sensitive subject matters that philosophy deals with. Radical kind of characteristic. Okay. Then critical. Criticism is a tool used to answer questions, clarify doubts, and unravel mysteries in philosophical discourse. It encourages objectivity and re-evaluation of ideas, making them richer and more profound. The goal of a philosophical argument is to have significant implications for humanity. Critical attitude rejects presumptions without evidence, opposes dogmatic attitudes, and rejects fixed principles. It rejects fanaticism, particularly religious ones, as they lack a scientific basis. Critical thinking raises radical questions at the root of reality and existence. So, criticism is nothing but is a tool to answer or clarify doubts of the philosophical discourse. This is the main thing. So, it rejects fanaticism, nothing but like religious ones, as they lack a scientific basis. Then, objective. Philosophy bases its arguments on factors that are directly related to reality. For this reason, it is not necessary to explain philosophical concepts through supernatural elements. This characteristic is of great importance. Philosophy was developed precisely with the intention of offering reasonable explanations to reality. In ancient times, almost all explanations were associated with mythical and supernatural factors. Arguments based on reality enrich thought and allow thinkers to observe natural phenomena more precisely. For any philosophy, there need to be some objective, right? So, philosophy bases its arguments on factors that are directly related to what? Reality. It is not necessary to explain philosophical concepts through supernatural elements, but this characteristic is of great importance. Philosophy was developed precisely with what? Offering reasonable explanations to reality. So objective is also very important characteristic of philosophy. Individualistic. There are as many philosophical theories as there are philosophers in the world. This implies that philosophy thought arises as a consequence of the world view of a particular person. In most cases, philosophies are duty attributed to their authors. Anonymous arguments are never presented. This has made it possible for different philosophers to study the works of others. It allowed them to complement concepts in pursuit of the ultimate goal of philosophy, learning the truth about reality. Individualistic. Individualistic means what? Every philosopher has a philosophical theory. So as many philosophers have there are as many philosophers in the world. How many theories are there? In the same way, there are so many philosophers in the world. Why? Because it is individualistic. Every philosopher has its philosophical theories. Okay, in that way, it allowed them to complement concepts in pursuit of what? Goal of philosophy, learning the truth about reality. So, next, argumentative. The entire foundation of philosophical thought is supported by argumentation. That is, its concepts have been obtained through rationality and deliberation. Not a single philosophical concept was established by predetermined thought rooted in tradition or cultural element. Through arguments, philosophers validate their notions and seek to convince the public about the theories they propose. Argumentative is nothing but not exactly arguing, but philosophical thought is supported by argumentation. Like its concepts have been obtained through rationality and deliberation. Not a single philosophical concept was established as a predetermined thought rooted in traditional cultural element. Though arguments, philosophers validate their notions and they want to convince the people about the theories they propose. They don't want to argument. They don't want to argue with the people, but argumentative is one of the good characteristics where they want to prove themselves to the public about the theories, that what they are doing is correct or what the result they got is correct. In that sense, argumentative is also one of the characteristics. Relating to the senses. Philosophy also bases its arguments on sensible knowledge. Only through the senses it is possible to perceive the world around us. For this reason, they are essential to receive stimuli from which notions and concepts can be developed. It is the knowledge that we can obtain about the material objects that exist in the world. It is the first approach to external reality. Only after we perceive reality through the senses, our brains give it meaning. That is, we interpret reality based on our experiences and other elements that dictate our perception of world. Relating to the senses is nothing but philosophy also bases its arguments on sensible knowledge, right? Sensibility is required. So, through senses, it is possible to perceive the world around us. Through senses only we can perceive the world around us. Only after we perceive the world around us through senses, our brain giving it meaning, that is, it will interpret the reality on our experiences and other elements dictate our perception of the world. Exceeds the common sense. In this case, common sense is the perception of reality as it is observed without questioning it. Under this premise, it is not necessary to verify the legitimacy of the context. Since it has always been the same way, philosophical thought completely divorces itself from this notion and bases all its actions on questioning practically everything. Exceeds common sense. Exceeding the common sense in this case means common sense is the perception of reality as it is observed. without questioning it. Without questioning it, we need to, reality has to be observed. Okay, and so this makes the actions on questioning practically everything. Okay, so characteristics of philosophy. These I have mentioned because these are like short kind of points which are required we can write. When if it is asked for less marks, this can be written, and if it is for more marks, we can explain in depth as I explained previously. These are like just short notes or like a summary you just think. Knowledge is the most important discussing matter of philosophy. It discusses the ins and outs of knowledge. The prime concern of philosophy is what? Life. Nothing in the universe is beyond of life, and nothing in life is beyond philosophy, right? Moreover, philosophy is a criticism and interpretation of life. It inquires into the nature, meaning, purpose, and origin and destiny of the human life. The chief instrument of philosophy is what? Logic. Being logical, it does not want to believe anything without logic. Its method is rational speculation, logic analysis, and synthesis. Philosophy is methodical, based on science. Philosophy has a close affinity without philosophy. With psychology. Philosophy and literature are closely related to each other. Philosophy is often revealed through literary works. Philosophy also deals with what? Science. It tries to find out the origin of science and the possibility of changing the methods of science. If you see here, some of the other way these points are discussed in detail in the previously what I've told. So this is nothing but a gist kind of characteristics of philosophy. If they ask for less marks. So this video I completed the characteristics of philosophy. With a new topic, I will upload a new video next. For now, I am stopping the video. Thank you from Sri Sai Tech Edu YouTube channel. Read, Lead, Success.